Testing, testing. Alright, so I need to get some work done, and I figured I'll do a stream because it helps me actually progress. So I'm gonna keep it short. I want to be done in the next 2.5 hours. My goal is to finish this Meadow scene, which is I'll switch to the cam now. So it's this scene here, and set the cameras up and all the stuff like that. So yeah. And I'll talk about some things I've worked on in the meantime. So I'm spawning at the moment some of these flowers using a procedural foliage spawner, and then this thing here is blocking the path down the center. So I will have to fix at some point the they're getting called by distance at the moment. So I've got this landscape that's a blend material, and I've actually created a version of it now so that based on the distance you view it at, it's very hard to tell. But notice how there isn't as much tiling as there used to be. So I've created a master material now that does a really good job blending all sorts of stuff together. These, for instance, are actually just Megascans assets, but I'm using my real-time virtual texture to blend them together. Same with this, like this is so look at how good a job it does blending everything together. So I've got this thing back here, and I think what I'll do today too is alright, so I want to create some more depth. So I got some Megascans, mossy mounds, mossy embankment. I put that in, and I put the mossy mounds in. And I think I'm gonna do this thing now, this mossy rocks. And I might see here, there's like rock faces, like over here in Quixel. I might try a rock face as well. So it's all just practice for me. So I got these rocks here, forest mounds, embankment. So yeah, bring it in, and the scale, I could bring the scale up quite a bit, and then click N to bring it down, and bring it out here, and give it a rotation like that. So just building up this landscape a bit. So see how that doesn't blend? It blends pretty good, but not great. So what I've been doing is like I get it pretty close to just being like at the same level all around. Then I go to the material, albedo normal. And I just go here and I choose this real-time virtual texture material. I enable it. And then I turn these on, and then right now my landscape's capturing height. Like you can see, it won't really show you, but yeah, it's capturing the height and the material map, and then I can turn on this stuff. And we can come down here and look like right there, for instance, and start going blend intensity, right? So that's 1's fine. You can see the fall off, how that changes things. And then maybe something like that. Blend height. One's probably good. Blend intensity. Fall off. Maybe 5. Somewhere like that. So you can see now that this is getting blended in good. So I think that doesn't look that great. Change the fall off there. 20. And that even helps to bring that up. So yeah, that looks good. Save it. Now we have these rocks and they blend in very, very well. So that's how that works. See the roots there. Now the rocks are coming in. So this is starting to definitely look more realistic. And I think I'm going to add something like a rock face at one point here. So let's try that. So it definitely can get scaled up more. Like you can lock this. 5. That's something that these could actually go in the distance. I feel like something like this could it could even so actually if I go like 15 on this, you can start kind of framing this up a bit more. This could maybe go to 10. And then we could bring this out. See, and then it becomes like something like this. That helps a lot. So like that. And then again, what I'll do here is it's all good. I'll just take a material, choose the real-time one, enable all this stuff, and I know that the blend intensity is going to be 1. Oh yeah, we need to height, and say 20. That actually looks good. 10, 1, 1, 1. Save. Oh, the blend intensity probably should be less. Yeah. Fall off a bit more. Something like that. Now what I'm wondering is what happens with my thing. So I got these going back to my mega scans. I've got at the moment this thing. But I'm gonna change the scale of this to like 50. And lock it again, save everything. And I'm just gonna see. When I go into my, resimulate. Yeah, we can play. There, yeah, it's cool. Place some on the static meshes and stuff like that. It's kind of what I want. The annoying thing is that this happens. I wonder if there's a seed. Random seed. Let's go for 40. There we go. And is it actually random, or does that come back if I do this? Yeah, it does. Let's go. Save. Let's go 1. Okay, 40 was good. Okay. I think because of the size of this, I gotta go in here and say, for each of these, turn off the align to normal. That's better. Alright. So you got some depth now on that side. We'll want some a little bit further down. So I wonder if there's another rock face we can get in here. Want to see rock face? There's this one as well. Download this one. We have those mounds. These mounds. So I'll export this, because I don't think I've got that guy yet. Okay, so I have mossy rocks. What's this one? Mossy rock face. Oh, another mossy mounds. That's the new one. Let's bring this guy in. Scale that up for sure. Let's go 5. Yeah. Something like if it's down here, somewhere around there. Dun, 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 dun. Oops. Maybe I'll go back from the rotation. That we're gonna have to. I'll drag that guy in here and flip it around. Something like this. there. I can come down here a bit more. Then this can come in kind of like on an angle. I thought. Or actually, maybe it's like the ground. Come here, say 3. Yeah. Move these rocks back. And then those can go back a little bit too. And then this can make its way. Okay, let's reset this. Let's come down a little bit. Break it up. Somewhere like this. Like that. Move that a little bit that way. Okay. We can take this and turn on our TV. On. It's like that. Okay. And then we got that new rock face as well, which is this one. We could put some rocks around as well. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll download these. Okay, so we got the mousy, this rock face as well. Let's bring that guy up. Okay, it's gonna be scaled up. 10 by 5. Let's see. 5 looks good. So if you're down here, somewhere around there. Maybe a bit smaller. 4 looks good. Okay, so we bring it up and then bring it in like this, and then up here, our TV, turn on, that one, that one. I think these ones are like 50. It could be 10.1, something like that. leave it like that. And then we'll duplicate. Okay, let's go back to these. Can go into our mega scans. Let's go back here and simulate this. And lastly, we need just like another one back here, and we'll increase the scale by make it 15. We'll do here is we'll take this guy as well. Bit too big. That looks good. Something like this. And maybe one more of these way down. Let's go up 15. And it's going to be down here. That works. Alright, so now we have some depth. I feel like this guy doesn't really add much. Do one more of those. Oops. And we move it out here and we scale it up to 5. And just kind of do something like this. And I could even come up to, I can end up in this area. So I can go back in here and it could be like 10. Something like that. Now we're talking. Okay. Move that guy forward a bit. Like that. Alright, I think I had one more. It's the rock, so I'm going to bring in. Alright, we have the POV large scale. This we can resimulate now. put a rock like there. Mossy stones. So yeah, if we take like this guy, lock him, skill him. Oh. Let's do something like that. You got that guy. Go up here. Let's make him 5, 10. Let's go 7.5 on that guy. Bring him down. Okay, we're just gonna put these two in for now. Change their material. And then we can replicate them later. Just go 2010, kind of reusing. And then that's that one. And this guy. That's the one we got there. This one. Yeah, so they use the same. That one, and they kind of use. Okay. It's fine. Leave it. That'll get covered up with the other stuff. Okay, so I have to figure out how to get rid of the culling of this stuff. But essentially, this is my scene at the moment. So I have to figure out the wind. These are the things I'm going to do in the morning. So the walking animations. So I got to do wind, fix, culling, fix. But the rest is kind of good right now. And if we look through our cinematic sequencer, go to behind the walk shot. This is one view we have, right? But it's pretty good at the moment. Don't want that, so it's just this stuff. And there's some other possible shots as well, right? Move around and kind of set up these angles. first thing will happen is gonna be like we're in this flower and it comes out of the flower, and then boom, we're in this scene. And with the foliage on the ground, I think this will look pretty good. So let's organize this stuff. So I'm gonna make some folders, and I say large, medium, small. Okay, so the mega scans are gonna go into the landscape folder, and then we have where large media is. Large is gonna go into the mega scans folder. Medium into the mega scans. Small into the mega scans, and the stones into the mega scans. Okay. Medium. I'm gonna call that small. Medium. Medium. This could be called floor. Foreground. Background, something like that. Like that's a background. 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 Floor. At the moment, that doesn't even get viewed. So that could actually go somewhere new. Right down there for now. Foreground. Actually, I'm gonna call these like props or something. Floor. Medium. And I'm gonna put the props in that folder as well. Props, floor, nice. Alright. Now for the foliage. Well, first we can go here and re-simulate this. Just kind of want to play a little bit with my lights. It's directional light at the moment. My frame rate frozen. So there's my default frame rate. If you look at that, it's pretty good. It's kind of like the meadowy thing I was talking about. We could even do a shot like this if needed. I need to give them some walking animations. So I think that I have in the NPC or mocap basics. Search walk, crouch walk. That's good. That one's cool. So I'm gonna retarget these to the one skeleton. So I know it's set up right now for my guy. So I'll retarget for the base skeleton, and I'll metahuman underscore and change for Brad. And if I open it, it's got this is the so you can so now if I play this, and then I can go to my metahuman. I know that she is F med UNW body. If I go to the skeleton, and for a sec I modified, I gotta go to my metahumans folder and search F med UNW. I'll just retarget pose. If I select that and choose that and just click import, it'll switch it to her thing, and then you can save this. Then I can go find because there's walks there. I could just give her like, there's the mocaps, this walk, you could just retarget that one. So go to this underscore and change it to Danielle's folder. And retarget. And put that on here. Save. I'm just gonna go back here, and because I'm gonna modify pose, reset. Something like that, I don't know. I just gotta Google how to make them move forward. have to look at this later on. But I know that also in this scene are the people from, there's going to be a Adam's agent group. Okay. And I'll move that up and click end. There's going to be a component, and it's going to be like a spline. Adam's agent group. If I go to my Adams folder, my agents, Adams, how do I do this? Behavior. Adams. Follow curve behavior. Yeah. I can't even think right now how to do this. Okay, how do I do that? I'm going to go to my other level. Just look at this so I know it's in the red room. I have characters, Adam's agent group. Clip reader, points layout. I definitely have to fix this, but do they? Actually, I don't. Maybe I don't have to add it yet. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna try this procedural foliage for the ground as well. So I'm just gonna get a snack. Alright. I gotta figure out how to like do the density of the procedural foliage. I'm gonna look up a video. So I'm gonna watch a video. Watch this.
Placing grass in outdoor environments by hand is tedious, so in this tutorial you will learn how to set up 3 levels of procedural grass from basic to a bit more complex. Let's get right into it. First of all, the prerequisites for this tutorial are a landscape and the landscape material. How this material is set up doesn't really matter as long as you have this node, which will let us paint on the landscape, and you will see why this is so important in just a bit. For this first level, let's start simple and get grass and ferns over the entire landscape. So for that, let's get into the material, and we are going to search for a node called landscape grass output. Now for each grass type that we will want to display, this node is going to require a name and a grass type. Currently we don't have a grass type set up, so let's see for the or anything alike. This very really sure it would from the track from 1 or
Okay, no, I don't
helping me
want.
do what I love
want-
and it
Yeah, let's see what this guy does.
Cool. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the procedural foliage tool. So before we start, I'm going to make a new scene, and I want it to be available for download. So I've made it very light. So I've just exported the tree from this scene. Foliage trees. It's the Scots pine, so obviously you can take whichever one you want, but so the way you do that, you export it from here, you just right click and do asset action, migrate, and then you say save selected, it's going to tell you what it's going to migrate, and then you select the directory of your next project and you click on
Hello
content
and
folder,
welcome,
and it will just arrive in there like this. So we've got the tree here with all the assets, so that's brilliant. Okay, so let's just create a new level. Just take it that default one, delete this, and then I'll also have the starter content, and I'm just going to put a chair right there in the middle for scale. You could put anything else, but I've got so that I know where we are. 0. Okay. Cool. So now create a landscape. Zoom out there. That's massive. That's the landscape. I guess, you know what, I'm just going to think, I'm just going to create a scene. Skylight again, because it was a bit too strong. New, average spread distance, ground slope angle.
This one's want to go.
welcome back to are going to be very familiar to
Right.
the foliage type. By default in this project I don't have any of those. So what I'm going to do is right click, foliage, and I'm going to create a static mesh foliage. Let's call this let's call this F. So for foliage, tree 1. Okay, let's open this up. And if you ever worked with the Unreal Engine's foliage tool, a lot of these settings are going to be very familiar to you, and you're going to feel pretty much like at home already. So the first thing that we need is to provide an actual mesh. So I'm going to go to the Stylized Forest Assets pack, which was free for this month. So you can still grab it if you're watching this today, but it's going to go away in a couple of days. So go grab it real quick if you want it. So tree, I'm selecting the tree and plugging that into here. Here we go. So I have the tree over here. Now we can change a bunch of settings over here. We can align to normals, we can randomize the jaw, so that's like the rotation of it. We can change the slopes in which they can grow, in which they can't. So if it's above 45 degrees, it's not going to be growing there. Mobility, static, that's good. We can set the cool distance. We probably want to set this up to something. So let's say we want this to start cooling at, let's say like 2000, and it's going to go away in like 10,000 perhaps. Maybe those should be a little bit bigger, but that's okay. So they're going to cast shadow. They're going to have collision, so we want to block all to actually have a collision in there. And what else we can do? In the growth, we can change the scale of it, so how big they actually get. So from 1 to 3 in this case. Obviously we can bump this up to maybe like 5 to have more variety. We have the clustering. So this one, the initial seed density, is going to like change how many of them are per a specific distance. So there's an average spread distance, spread variance, like all kinds of parameters that we can change. We can also set the shade radius, so if we increase this one, then in this radius around it, the trees are not going to spawn, so it's not gonna allow them to be spawned there. So if they're getting too close for you, if you want to spread them more apart, maybe increase this value right here. So go through the settings, experiment with these. There's a bunch of them. It's gonna take me a long time to explain all of them. So Now the next thing that we want to do is inside of our foliage spawner, we want to provide this foliage actor. So here we go. We can then hit quite a fill it up entire quite a simulate bot frame. Now for now, a little low. So let me bump that up maybe to even like 40, and let's start cooling maybe even only at the edge. Get this one. So specify this up. Edge types. Now values for the stones. So there's more. So this is pretty cool. Now let's a lot of for two things over here, which is not. But the issue now will be that, well, where does the player walk around? Like, where do you have things over? We have a procedure, a bunch of these for a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I kind of get this now. Basically, if I leave that at 1, it helps a lot. Things spreading out. If I lower the average spread variation, so yeah, like if they only spread, they're basically gonna spread beside each other. I can just put, if I go 0 there, that should just mean it. It's kind of what I want. Okay, that's kind of the settings I want. I could just add a few more types of grass, I guess. So I could go here and add like grass clumps 2, and I could add grass clumps 3 as well. Save. Now each of these ones need to go like 10, and they spread 10 away from each other. There's like one thing, initial seed density, 3 steps, seeds per step. Just see how far stuff gets with 3, and that's good. And then same here, 10 from 0 seeds per step, save. So we might increase the seed steps, but yeah, so then we just increase this to like 6. Maybe even go up. I think 10's the money. So now we got some foliage in there. Now it's ignoring all of this stuff, so if I go here though and say allow, save everything, and then resimulate, so I allow the static meshes, yeah, and then I'm wondering if I can, yeah, I really don't want this to affect. I'm just gonna Google. I'll look at that later. Okay, so that, like, because I just don't want it growing on certain surfaces. I guess maybe this guy. Okay, maybe I don't use this at the same scale as I'm currently doing it. Let's say I go 10. Let's say I lock this and go 5. What happens if I do? So, 1 there, 1 there, 5 there. Okay. 10. Let's go 10. And let's say 10, 5, 6, 5, 1. So it's like certain volumes. Like, I don't want it to grow here on this rock. And I don't want it to grow on this rock either. So if I do that, what happens? So I got these. So these are going to be my blockers. blocking volumes. I'm actually just going to create new ones. So I'm going to place out and place it here. Click end and go here. So there. Let's see what happens now. Nothing on the rock or something on the rock. So that's going to go to my blocking volumes. And then we're going to create ones called spawners. Blocking volumes will go in foliage. These will go in spawners. Spawners goes in foliage. Small. Yeah, now it misses that rock. Now it still doesn't really want to grow. I'm going to resimulate this guy. And resimulate this again. Okay, that's cool. So we got this like path, and then we're gonna want another one of these blocks here. That. Lift it up. We want another one over here. This one's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be like rotated. Something like that. Let's see. Let's encompass everything. Come out a little bit. Comes out a little. Okay. I don't know. Something like this. It's okay. Maybe it's not as crazy. Just one more. It's gonna come out here. It's gonna be way smaller. It's gonna go over this. Like that. Something like that. I don't know. Let's see. Save that. Lift it up. Click end. Save it. Small scale. Resimulate. Large scale. Resimulate. So Alright. Let's see if this got max angle. Let's see. Let's change that to 90. It's grass. Grow anywhere pretty much. Okay. Let's see if there's 20 on these now. Some of this grass isn't aligning to the normal. Okay, so it's starting to look good. That's all good there. Alright, can I just add some more stuff now? I'm gonna put this back at 45. Save those. I'm gonna add just some flowers and stuff like that. Maybe two kinds. I've got the red flowers, which are my big ones, but I'm gonna go down to my 3D plants. Bring in some of these ones. Green grass. Yeah, so I'll just bring in bring this guy in. Oh, so 3D plants. That one. That one. Maybe some flowers. That guy. And then if I go to my let's just leave it like that for now. Oh. Let's delete that one. Delete that one. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. Collision radius 10. Maybe 5 actually. Grow and shade. Number of steps 3. They'll spread by 5. 0. 5. 0. 0. Seeds per step 10. And something like that. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Will, after this semester's over, I'll do more figuring it out. And then small scale resimulate. Maybe I'll make it so the flowers can't grow like on rocks and stuff. Like on angles, I'll make the angle like minimum 15 or something like that. Okay, so while that's loading, what am I gonna do next? I have to Google that. I can finish the foliage. I break up the landscapes. So that's the walking animation is quite important. Then I gotta watch the vid, William Faucher's vid on foliage to figure out some of the problems I'm having. So actually maybe I'll do that one first, then second, and then cameras plus set up scenes. I'm gonna go to the bathroom quick. Alright, that's still going, so that's too heavy now. This is too heavy, so this is what happens when you don't understand what's going on. I can say that the minimum you can change the seating. There's number of steps on all of these. Try that. I might do is do a medium scale one. I think that's what I'll do. So now it's doing this thing. So it's just doing its thing. Excuse me. Okay, well that's doing its thing. I'm going to look at a video on how to make okay, it's called root motion, I guess. Okay, what I'm going to do is duplicate this, call it me, and duplicate this and call this scale, and then I'm going to delete these guys. I'm going to open the medium scale one. That's me medium scale. I'm going to go there, click here, so medium scale 2, 3. I'm going to do that. Click there, go like this. Go like this. Okay. Okay, go like that. Click that. Go like this, and then go here. Go like that. This. Save. Delete those guys. Okay. Medium scale. Foliage spawner. You want that one. Save all. Okay. Too much collision. Alright, we're gonna put them 50 centimeters apart. Average spread distance 50. 50. Save. 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 Much better. That looks good to me. Alright, I'm gonna watch this video.
Alright, so today we're going to get our meta human here to walk around and run around like construct it there, and you'll see it'll take you to the right animation blueprint.
What is going on, guys? In the animal, which will set animations. This actually looks better with the female mannequin, so
Hello and welcome back to Advanced Animation Application. Today, we're going to learn how to animate. Cool.
Hey, what's going on? Cannot be so sci-fi to run. You just gotta click on this one because I just want to see point system again. Another one. I just gotta populate this whole graph. Screw it up. That download a free plugin for Unreal Engine 4. That
Follows down. Might even straighten that out a tiny bit more just so it kind of locks a bit. Because our arms do tend to lock as they move forward if they're relaxed. And then... So, I just want you to, look like it's in.
Hey guys, and welcome back. And track is for this calculation. So direct. Going back. Hit compile, and we'll see it's already working. So now if we close this, hit play, we can see that the player is not moving, so we have the idle animation playing right there. So it's just obviously with your, if we're running and then suddenly stop, it goes and walk, run to jump, and between all the different combinations of that.
okay. On the marketplace, and still look like it's good for that for you guys trying to really look with longer motion. Shit. You know how long that would. What is up, guys? In this video, we're going to click on us here and looking down. I'm going to here in up.
大家好，我是 Q 别老师。在之前
What is up, guys? John here. So what you'll need is a root motion animation, and in your viewport, click character into a funny angle, set.
And how they move, you can works very well. Now connected to from this spot, we go here.
大家好，我是 Q 别老师。在之前我们经常提到 root animation 跟 in-place animation 这两个名词，但是很多同学对它们之间的差别还是不太清楚，所以在这段影片我 我们就来做一个
Alright,
比较
we're
完
watching
整
this.
的介绍。那画面上大家可以看到，我写的是 root motion 跟 impress motion。那其实，在 Unreal Engine 里面 ，motion 跟 animation 这两个字其实是差不多的意思，因为在这里角色的动作我们称作是 motion， 但是这些动作在 Unreal Engine 里面呢，它是存成一个一个 animation sequence 的档案。好，那画面上我们看到这两个角色做的其实是一模一样的动作，只是其中一个角色他一直在原地踏步。那这边的 impress 就是原地的意思，所以 impress motion 指的就是原地动作。那另外一个角色他会往前走，这边我们会看到他不断的往前走又退回去，那只是因为我们的动作只记录了一小段。那这边我是重复播放这一小段的动作。好，那这种方式我们称作是 root motion， 也就是说，角色如果在整个动作里面它的位置并没有改变，我们就称作是 impress motion 或者说 impress animation。而如果角色它会改变它的位置，我们就称作是 root motion。那为什么会有这个样子的差别呢？我们知道角色的骨架是一种树状的结构，而树状结构通常它的最上层，我们都把它称作是 root 树根。所以以画面上这一个 mannequin 的骨架来说的话，它的 root 就位于两脚之间的地面上。那 impress animation 跟 root animation 之间的差别就在于 impress animation 的 root 的位置不会改变，而 root animation 的 root 的位置会改变。那为什么会有这两种不同的动作方式？我们又在什么样的情况之下应该使用哪一种的动作档呢？ Impress animation 比较常用在游戏里面的角色移动控制，比如说我们现在选到画面上的这一个角色，我们看到它底下有这个坐标轴，那这个点代表这一个角色或者说这一个 actor 的瞄点。那如果我把它的skeletal mesh 这边的update animation in editor 这个项目勾起来，好，我们在关卡编辑器里面就可以直接看到这个角色的动作。这个时候我们就看到它的瞄点位置并没有动，但是角色脚底下的 root 的位置是会改变的。那所以通常我们在游戏里面，不论是玩家角色还是 NPC， 在移动的时候，我们会透过 blueprint 来控制它的瞄点位置。那所以如果是用 impress animation 的话，我只要移动了这一个瞄点，角色就自然就跟着动。而相对的，如果是 root animation 的方式，我移动瞄点的话，角色会跑得比我预期的还更快。所以在游戏里面要使用 root animation 的话，可能不太方便，除非像现在比如说第5代的 Unreal Engine，追求游戏里面的动作要有非常强烈的真实感的时候，才会使用到 root motion， 否则一般我们都还是直接用 impress motion 的方式，会在 blueprint 的方面会比较好控制。相反的，在动画或者是电影里面，我们就会更常使用 root motion， 因为它就是本来动作捕捉器捕捉下来的原始格式。 在虚幻商城里面的动作资源包，通常会同时提供 In-Place Animation 跟 Root Animation 这2种格式。例如说，我们现在这一个骨架，那我们切换到 Animation 这边的时候，现在我们看到的这一个走路的动作，它的档案名称后面会加上一个 IP 或者写 IPC 那这边的 IP 就是代表 In-Place， 而它对应的 Root Motion
Wonder if I deleted some of these by accident.
就在这边这个地方就是档案名称后面没有写 IP 或者 IPC 的 这个就是 root motion， 所以我们会看到这个角色会往前走。那 root motion 跟 impress motion 之间要转换，其实是很容易的。如果我们有 root motion 的档案，我们只要在左侧这边的 asset details 资源细节这个面板的底下，在 root motion 这边有一个 enable root motion 这一个项目，把这个项目勾起来之后，原本的 root motion 就会变成是 impress motion。我们现在切换到刚才的关卡，就会看到这两个角色变成同样是在原地踏步。而如果我再把 enable root motion 这个项目取消掉，那我们现在看到靠远方的这个角色就变成又是往前走的方式了。这里我们用到的动作都是来自 MCO mocap basic 这个资源包，那所以大家如果有兴趣的话，可以下载这一个资源包来做练习。好，那接下来我们来看看怎么样在 Sequencer 里面使用 Root Animation 或者是 Impress Animation。首先，我们先建立一个新的 Level Sequence， 并且设定好摄影机。我们先来看 Root Motion 的部分，选到靠后面这个角色，然后在绿色的这个按钮这边选择 Actor to Sequence， 然后选择这一个角色，那我们就可以增加这一个角色的动画轨道。那在 Transform 这边，我们现在在第0格的位置加上一个关键格，然后在 Animation 这边选择后面这个按钮，搜寻 Walk， 这里我们可以找到它的 Root Motion 是这一个动作，底下这个是 Impress Motion。那所以我们先选择到 Root Motion 这个动作。那这个动作我们在这边按下滑鼠右键，然后选择最上面的 Property， 我们可以看到它的总长度底下这个是Impress Motion。那所以我们先选择到 Root Motion 这个动作。那这个动作我们在这边按下滑鼠右键，然后选择最上面的 Property， 我们可以看到它的总长度在这边是36格。我们把这个红色的数字选起来，然后输入36，那就可以把播放头移动到第36格。那现在我们在这个角色上面按下滑鼠右键之后，选择复制，这会让我们在这边复制一个新的角色出来。这个新的角色主要是用来做定位用的。 现在我们把这个角色的 Animation Mode 再选回 Animation Access， 那我们看到它的动作会跟这个动作姿势是一模一样的。然后我们拉动它，让这两个角色完全重叠在一起。这个时候，从这个地方 location 这个地方，我们就可以得到这一个角色在36格之后，它的描点应该要以它的点会逐渐的 curve， 这个点代表它在动它的往前面上稳定的，那全重叠的，按下一次。好，那这边我们看它后半段是整个用滑的，因为我们没有把动作拉长，角色好像速度上面有一点出入。
Alright, so I think all of that is to say I don't really know what I'm doing, but if I go into my sequencer and I add him, and I delete the control rig, and I will delete the face, and I'll use an animation asset here, so track animation. It's basically called walk. Drag it to the end, and if I track transform, and at the beginning frame I set a keyframe, jump to the last frame, as well, and set a keyframe. Yet on this frame, my location is going to be don't need the rotation, we just need the location. And on that one, my Y value. No scale change. Basically, we want to go pre-extrapolate. We want that and that to be linear. And maybe Y value is going to be 600. Why is that not working? That's the problem. Okay, so let's delete the transform. I wonder if I can do the atoms thing with just a single actor. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna have to figure that out tomorrow. I'm gonna set up my cameras and call it, so. Alright. First, I'm gonna make my scene showing seconds, and I make my thing range end times 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Bring that right to the end. Alright, I see what that does now. Okay, so I got Buddy in here. I'll also bring her in. Do the same thing, delete, track, animation, underscore, Danielle. So just go like that for now. You can just go to properties, say 20. Go like that, 20 seconds. Start these guys at property 20. Okay. So that's good. That's good. Camera cuts. We got establishing shot. We'll make it end at 10. And then we'll go here and we'll add behind shot. Go to the end. Lock that in. Okay, so behind shot. those can get grouped. Call those characters. Okay. Let's go back to YouTube. I gotta watch my culling video. Foliage video. Something like this. Okay, so this is the thing I'm doing.
Hey everyone, welcome back. William Fauché here. Today's topic is foliage, or rather, troubleshooting issues you may have had with foliage actors. If you've been using Unreal Engine for a while, you'll undoubtedly have run into the issue where foliage just doesn't behave the way you expect it to. It's infuriating when it happens. It feels like you're completely in the dark because you have no idea what's causing the problem, let alone how to fix it. In a perfect world, you wouldn't need these fixes at all, but here we are. I get these same questions all the time. I see these questions being asked all the time. So let's sit down together and take a look at some of the most common issues and how to solve them. Now, full disclosure before we get started, this video does have a sponsor, and that's Skillshare. So let's talk about the first issue that we run into, and that's often disappearing shadows. So I have a bunch of foliage here, and when I move the camera away, you'll notice that the shadows of the foliage just tends to disappear, and there doesn't seem to be a way to get those shadows back. So I've already talked about the solution to this problem in this video right here, but I realized that that video is not exactly easily searchable for this specific issue, so I want to talk about it again in this video. And the solution to these missing shadows here is a console command. So we're going to open up the console command menu, and we're going to type r.raytracing.geometry.instantstaticmeshes.culling0. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but bear with me. And when you enter the console command, you'll see right away our shadows are now visible at any distance for our foliage.
Okay, save that.
So this is extremely helpful for foliage that have been painted very far away from the camera. So we're going to open up the console command menu, and we're going to type r.raytracing.geometry.instantstaticmeshes.culling0. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but bear with me. And when you enter the console command, you'll see right away our shadows are now visible at any distance for our foliage. So this is extremely helpful for foliage that have been painted very far away from the camera, so often for trees in the distance and that sort of thing. So this is a very good tip to know about. It can really get you out of a bind. And with that said, let's move on to issue number 2. Now the next issue I want to talk about is weird shadows on foliage when you're using any kind of wind system. You may have noticed it on some of the Megascans assets where the moment you enable the grass wind nodes on the materials of your fern or foliage, whatever you're using, you will get these odd shadows when you're using ray tracing specifically. So let me show you some of the effects here. So if I select my sun and my skylight and disable ray trace shadows, you'll notice we no longer have any of those weird shadowing issues, right? The wind kind of behaves as normal. You'll see here the wind is very, very subtle, but we don't have any awkward, weird shadowing. And the moment I turn back ray trace shadows on both my sun and my skylight, you'll see that things suddenly turn to total garbage. This is completely unusable. We are getting the exact same issue on trees here, like that. You'll see where there's this big, large, black spot here that eventually will move once the wind kind of kicks in, like this here. All of this is caused by ray tracing, but fortunately there is a way to fix this. So how do we fix that problem? We're going to start by selecting our tree here, and in the search details panel, we are going to search for evaluate. And we're going to click on evaluate world position offset that you see right here, and pay attention to the black shadowy area here. When I click on this, it gone. Now our wind will behave as expected on our trees without any of that wonky shadowing. But this tree is a static mesh, not a foliage actor. So let's see right here, and let us go into the foliage mode here by selecting our foliage actor in the foliage list, and we're going to scroll down in the settings here until we see evaluate world position offset. And you'll see right here, we've got evaluate world position offset in the foliage actor itself. So I'm going to click this, but you'll see nothing happens. It doesn't work with foliage actors, unfortunately. I don't know if this is a bug or not, but fortunately there is a workaround to this. It's a little bit of a hacky workaround and probably not the most efficient workaround, but there is a way to get the evaluate world position offset to work correctly on foliage actors, not just static meshes. So what we're going to do is, in the content browser, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a blueprint class. And I'm just going to create a regular blueprint actor. I'm going to call this Common Fern Evaluate WPO. And now we're going to open up that blueprint, and
Excuse me.
in our blueprint, we're going to drag and drop our Common Fern here into our blueprint scene, like so. Now we select our fern here, and in the details panel here, we're going to search for Evaluate again, and we're going to click on Evaluate World Position Offset. Okay? We're going to hit compile and save. We can close this, but there is still one more thing we need to do here before we can finish. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click in our content browser, go to Foliage, go to Actor Foliage right here, and I'm going to call this Common Fern WPO. I'm going to double-click on this and drag and drop our new blueprint that we just created into the Actor class slot up here. Once that's done, we're going to hit Save. We can close this new window, go back to the Foliage tool, and now we can drag and drop our new actor foliage that we just created into our foliage list right here. And now I'm just going to make sure that my new foliage actor is checked in my foliage list and not the other one. And I'm going to paint the new ones right here. And as you can see, we now have wind with ray tracing on our foliage without the really nasty shadowing issue that we had over here. So, like I said, this is a bit of a hacky workaround, and this may actually be detrimental
everyone, looks like this. When doing ray traced foliage now, there are 4 new commands to be aware of that will make this possible. These first 2 commands control how shadows are projected into the world. The evaluate W are new to ray tracing in the Unreal Engine, and that is support for real-time ray-traced foliage. If you've been following the development of ray tracing since its introduction to the Unreal Engine over a year and a half ago, you know that this has been a challenging issue to solve. Today, I'll walk you through how this works and how you can implement it for your project. First things first, I'll show you what this looks like. Everything in this scene is constructed from foliage on top of landscape, and is making use of the latest 426 engine features for volumetric clouds and water. If you haven't tried 426 yet, and are working on open world scenes, I highly recommend you do that for these features alone. You'll see that they're compatible with ray tracing out of the box, and don't require much artist time to get something that looks good. The relevant console commands are here. When doing ray traced foliage now, there are 4 new commands to be aware of that will make this possible. These first 2 commands control how shadows are projected into the world. The evaluate WPO command tells the ray tracer to use your material world position offset settings. It defaults to 0, but can be set to 1 or -1. 1 tells it to evaluate all WPO foliage, and -1 tells it to use only those foliage instances you want. This is done as an optimization. Excessive amounts of WPO evaluation can potentially cause slowdowns. The test map, in fact, has over 200,000 foliage instances and 24 unique foliage types, and is set to a value of 1, and it runs great. But if you want to be more selective, the -1 setting will constrain that to only the foliage instances you specify. The next command, simulation count, determines the number of unique simulations that are generated for each foliage instance. So what's going on here? Well, it's too expensive to match the ray traced shadow to the WPO animation for every instance and variation. So for performance reasons, we allow you to set a limited number of simulations for each foliage type. With this number, less is better performance, and higher numbers produce more accuracy. In this test scene, the simulation count is set to 1. So unless you're looking closely for differences in shadow behavior, you may not even notice it. For good performance, I would recommend 4 or less and try for the lowest number possible. And if you want more accuracy, simply raise the number. These next 2 commands control how the foliage is self-shadowed. Use bias for skip WPO eval should be set to 1. This makes it so the self-shadows on foliage can animate. Max bias for inexact geometry is a distance value that controls how far the WPO self-shadow can travel on the foliage as it animates. A good number here will depend on how far it moves.
Hey, and the reason why I said to press the tilde.
Hey everyone. wanted to bring your attention to some new features we have in the latest NVIDIA release for Unreal Engine issue to solve. World scenes.
Okay, I'm just gonna, for these things for now, has to do with, I gotta paint them in, it sounds like. So I'm gonna fix that and then it's another day. Okay. So I've got
What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you foliage culling. So what foliage culling is basically the further you get away from your foliage, it will start to despawn. So if we start zooming out, we can see I've set up the grass already. You can see the grass all despawned, and this will basically make your game run faster because there will be less assets in the scene. So I'm going to show you how to set this up for the grass and the mushrooms. If we jump into our foliage tab, so make sure you're in your foliage tab, we select both our flowers, so hold control and just click both of them. If you scroll down to instance settings, you can then see where it says cull distance, start setting the max to your desired value. So my grass is on 8,000 at the moment, so my flowers could be 5,000. Because you could be, the flowers are sort of in the grass, so you're not really going to notice it till you get up close anyway. Now we've got those two working, we can start doing the mushrooms. So select both mushrooms. The mushrooms are a bit bigger than the grass, so we're going to set it to about the same value, so 8,000. So now that will start despawning with the grass. Thank you very much for watching, I hope this helped, and bye bye.
how do I change that?
What is going on, guys? My grass is on 8 flowers could be the flower grass, you're not really going to notice it till you get up close anyway. Flowers are sort of in the grass, you're not at the moment, so my grass to your desired value. So cull distance, start setting the max to your desired value. So my grass is on 8,000 at the moment, so my flowers could be 5,000. Because you could be, the flowers are sort of in the grass, you're not really going to notice it till you
everyone, I wanted to bring your attention to some new features we have in the latest NVIDIA release for Unreal.
Mental performance-wise, that is pretty simple. It's LODs. And this is actually only an issue with ray tracing specifically. So if I go ahead and turn off cast ray tracing shadows in my directional light, you'll notice that the shadows are actually based on their respective LOD, which is, what it's supposed to do. But with ray tracing, that is not the case. You'll see we're still getting the shadows being cast by LODs. You have a solution for this. There's two things that you can do. It should go without saying that this is LOD related. So the first way to solve this is to open up your static mesh editor and scroll down and set the number of LODs to 1. That will essentially get rid of all the high LODs. Or a less destructive approach is to open up the console command menu and type foliage.force LOD 0. And that's going to essentially, well, as the name implies, it's going to force LOD 0 on all the foliage actors. And you won't get that really nasty popping effect anymore. If you're rendering your shots with the movie render queue, I believe the movie render queue already uses this console command under the hood. I don't think you need to use it for it, but you'll notice that your viewport, so to keep in mind,
Okay, we got that going down. Alright, I'm gonna kind of leave this go. So I got that level, and then if I go to my other level with my red room, I just haven't fixed the part yet on the sequencer, but I'm gonna add here to my 20. Yeah, so basically I go to 20, set end time, go to 6 for this. How many shots? 2 shots. I'll just go 10 each for now. Top shot, room shot. So it's gonna start 10, go to 20. Track that for a sec. Okay. Those two. Alright. And then I think I'm gonna end it here. I gotta fix foliage on desert scene. So tomorrow I just got my meeting, and then I'm gonna go start at before export rough, and so I'm gonna start the first scene tomorrow and do final shots with camera movements. So there's a lot to do, but I got my shots kind of done now. I got those shots there roughly, and then yeah, I definitely gotta fix the Love Island one. If I cut to my cameras, I've got these ones as well. Alright, save all that and end my stream. Lots of work to do, but we're getting there.